Hi everybody, Ian here. Today I come to you guys with a very big book haul for the month of November. And originally I was planning on, waiting with filming this one because I am still waiting for some books. But then I realized that this book haul is big as it is already. So those books that hasn't come in yet, they will be in my December book haul instead, which will also be very huge because I've pre-ordered some stuff. So problems. Okay, yeah, so you have 24 books to haul today. It's not as bad as my September book haul, but it's not good. It's so many, but at least I have read a few of these books, so maybe it's not that bad. I don't know. But let's start hauling some books. Jeez. So the first one I have here is Popish Water, written by Annika Castro-Nilsson, which is a review book I got from Visto Förlag. This one is about Torilda, and she is like every single day is by the water in Liljeholmen. People don't really notice her sitting there, and people don't really notice her walking around with these like cart filled with mail when she's in the paper she works at. So she notices a lot of things that other people might not, and then she writes down everything she has seen on these little boats made of paper, and she sends them like out into water. But suddenly someone starts like pick up these paper boats and start reading what's actually says on these papers, and a lot of lives change at the same time because of that. And I've never read a book quite like that, and well, I haven't read it yet, but I haven't read a book like that before, so it does sound really interesting, and I do look forward to reading this. Then we have Autobiography by Christina Lauren, and I mean, it's a book on the book cover. I mean, I'm sold. And there's actually two people up there too, so it looks pretty cool. 3 years ago, this guy named Tana and his family relocated from California to Utah, and he was in his previous city, he was out to the public the fact that he was bisexual, but when they moved to Utah, he sort of takes a step back into the closet, and people don't know that's actually bisexual. So Tana is pretty much thinking about, he's going to coast through the last courses that he has and then get the hell out of Utah. But then his best friend Autumn dares him to take a prestigious seminar at Provo High. And there, honor roll students diligently told to draft a book in a semester. And Tanner thinks that this is going to be easy peasy, because he can write a book in that amount of time. But it turns out to be a lot harder to write a book in 4 months than he thought it was. This is at this point where he notices this guy, Sebastian Brother. And he's the Mormon prodigy who sold his own seminar novel the year before, and he now mentors this class. And it takes less than a month for Tana to fall completely in love with him. And then we have The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and I've heard so amazing things about this, and I know the series is not finished, which is why I don't really know when I'm going to start reading it. But there's 2 books out, so I mean, maybe I'll read that first. So I don't really know what this is about, like, at all. But you meet this character named Kuvote, I can't say that, and he has stolen princesses back from sleeping barrow kings. I burned down the town of Trebon. I have spent the night with Felurian and left with both my sanity and my life. I was expelled from the university at a younger age than most people are allowed in. I tread past by moonlight that others fear to speak of during the day. I have talked to gods, loved women, and written songs that make the minstrels weep. You may have heard of me. So begins a tale unequaled in fantasy literature, the story of a hero told in his own voice. It is a tale of sorrow, a tale of survival, a tale of a man's search for meaning in his universe, and how that search and an indomitable will drove it gave birth to a legend. So that's all it says. So that's all I know. This is sort of like comic strips, so 2 different comics in this one. So this is Miriam Internet, and this one is written by Lars Jansson, and I actually have read this one, so I mean, I don't feel that bad. So, Moomin. So I mean, it's like one where you meet, I don't remember what they called, I'm not really good at to be honest on stories, but they're they collect like buttons and everything like that, and they sort them, and you know, then he's supposed to get a job and he fails miserably, and then there's about a marriage that is not working very well. That's the same story, but then the next story is about a lady in, you know, a lady that needs help, and there's like this movie recording and they mess everything up, and it was quite funny actually. Vicious by Ryan Graudin, and this is I have never actually read a Ryan Graudin book, but I do want to read the Wolf by Wolf series or what they're called, but this one sounded really awesome. So I've heard that this is about a time traveler, and they actually go back in time and they end up on like Titanic or something like that. That's what I've heard about it, and that's actually what kind of sold me for it. But I mean, the cover looks really cute. It looks really cool with all the gold things, and I like it. And then we have Their Fractured Light by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, and this is the third and final book called the Starbound trilogy, I want to say. Yes. And I haven't actually read the first two. I own them, but I haven't read them because I don't know why. So I don't really want to read on the back because it seems to be spoilers from the others books. So it seems like this like sort of crossover with the characters and everything like that. But I mean, this is a sci-fi book, so they're in space. So that's pretty much all I know because I don't want to be spoiled. And then we have Sju siffrigt by Anna Karolina, which is a book I got from as a review book from Bookmark Förlag, and this is about 3 women, and they kidnap this millionaire, and they're very prepared for this, and they think that nothing can go wrong. But when they ask for money to return this person, the money doesn't show up, and then everything goes quite badly. So they start to commit like a lot of different crimes because of that, and yeah. This also leads to that the millionaire ends up in the hospital where one of the kidnappers works, and she falls head over heels for her patient. And yeah, so the police is trying to figure out who made all these crimes, and they don't think that women could have done this because they're ruthless. Then we have Forest of 1,000 Lanterns by Julie C. Dow, and this is the book I got in my, I want to say October, yes, it's October Firebird. I hate snakes, I don't want to look at the cover, but this is about Si Feng, and she's meant to be the empress of all Feng Lu, but she has to like embrace her dark side to be able to do that. And this is a retelling of the evil queen legend from Snow White. So that's pretty much all I need to know because I'm interested. And then we have The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson, and this is the 3rd book in the Remnant Chronicles, I think it's called. I have not read the first 2. I do own them, but I mean, I'm trying to finish series this year, so that's why I buy 3rd books in the series I haven't even started. I'm smart. But yeah, the first book is about Princess, I think Leia, is that her name? Yes, so the first book is about Princess Leia, and she's supposed to marry this prince, you know, to start alliances between different countries, but she's 17 years old, she does not want to get married, so she runs away, and then her father sends one assassin and the prince after her, and the whole book is about, you know, not knowing who is the assassin and who is the prince, and, you know, trying to figure it out. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say since this is the 3rd book, so yeah. And then we have Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore, and this one I got in my, I want to say October Alcrate, is that correct? I don't know. I mean, I feel like this is sort of a magical realism book, I think, and they're always so freaking hard to describe what the hell they're about, and I never managed to do it good, or, you know, at all. Vanilla Century, the Nomelovides women have tainted the grounds of La Pradera, the lush estate gardens that enchant guests from around the world. They've also hidden a tragic legacy. If they fall in love too deeply, the lovers vanish. But then, after generations of vanishings, a strange boy appears in the garden. A boy named Estrella, the Nomelovides girl, finds him, no her family know anything about. The Nomelovides grandmothers treat him like a lost son. The Nomelovides mothers hope he's a sign that their vanished loves might reappear. Estrella's cousins worry his presence is a warning that none of them yet understands. But however much the boy is an enigma to them, he's even more of a mystery to himself. All he knows about who he is, where he comes from, is the first letter of his name. and Estrella tries to help Fel piece together his unknown past. La Pradera leads them to secrets as dangerous as they are magical in this stunning exploration of love, loss and family. And then we have Bakom kulisserna så gjordes fantastiska vidunder och vad man hittar dem, written by Ian Nathan, and it's actually, you know, get some words by Eddie Redmayne. So this one is of course about Fantastic Beasts, the movie. So you get to find out a lot about the characters and some about the actors that actually play the characters. And you know how everything was done and different scenes and you know Percival Graves and you know different things about the wands and you know how Newt walked into his freaking briefcase and making it look real. So yeah, it's a lot of background info about the making of the movie and it was so much fun to read. Harry Potter, A History of Magic, and this is for the 20 years Harry Potter movie. So this is for the British Library like exhibition. So I bought at the same time Harry Potter, A Journey Through a History of Magic. So this is more of the like children's version as far as I've gotten it. And this is more an adult version. So in both of these you get to find out a lot of different artifacts that is used to build the Harry Potter story. I have read this one, I have not read this yet, but this one is obviously a lot thicker. I think it's like about 100 pages longer, so I'm not really sure what all of the differences is, but I mean you get to learn about charms, astronomy and things like that, a lot about different herbs and stuff like that. You just have a lot of different stories from Hans Christian Andersen. So you have like the Little Mermaid, of course, Thumbelina, the Snow Queen, the Emperor's New Clothes, the Ugly Duckling, and so on. And I have been wanting to read the original stories and not the Disney stories, the Disney version, which is more aimed towards kids. But I wanted to read more, a little bit more gruesome stories, really. So yeah, that's why I bought this, and also it's gorgeous. They do connect them very well to the story of Harry Potter, so it was really interesting to read this one. So I look forward to reading this one and figure out what is in this book and not in this book. So I mean this is about 100 pages longer, so I mean if you only buy this one you miss 100 pages, so you might miss something. I can't answer that because I haven't read this one yet, but I personally needed both of them, so you know I bought both of them because Harry Potter. And then of course I bought Fantastiska vidunder och var man hittar dem, written by Newt Scamander aka J.K. Rowling. This is illustrated by Olivia Lomenech-Gill. I have read this one as well. I have to say I would have preferred if Jim Kay illustrated these editions as well. I mean, I love reading about the beasts. I've always loved that. But the illustrations, I feel like they sometimes are a little bit like too vague for me. Like it's really like, you know, very abstract, really, more sketches. And then there's the ones that look freaking amazing. So I mean the Gryphon looks really good. So then we have Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, and this is book 3 called The Ship of the Dead by Rick Riordan, and I love freaking Rick Riordan. This is the third and final book in the Magnus Chase trilogy, and I don't really know a lot about these books because this is the third book, so I don't want to read on the back of it. And I haven't read the first two because, whoopsie. But this is about Magnus Chase, and I think he's living on the street or something like that, and he is the son of a Norse god. So yeah, that's pretty much all I know. But I mean, obviously he's going to kill a lot of monsters and meet a lot of gods because that's what Rick Riordan is all about, because I love Greek mythology and mythology in general. So Rick Riordan is all about books that's about demigods and different mythologies, and this series follows Norse mythology, which I really wanted to get to know a little bit better since I live in Sweden. So Norse mythology is, you know, what I'm supposed to like the best, but I know most about the Greek mythology, so guess we'll have to make it up for that. But yeah, I love Rick Riordan, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. And then we have Stephen King with the book It, and I mean the movie was released and I do want to read this before watching the movie, but I'm sort of a scaredy cat, so I don't know how this will go. And this is freaking huge, like it's enormous, more than 1,000 pages, and I don't know if you're following Zoe from Read by Zoe, but you totally should. She was definitely one of the ones that made me watch book 2 from the beginning, and I want to start my own channel. And she had this 24-hour long readathon where she read this book in 24 hours pretty much, and that just inspired me to want to read this book. Definitely not in 24 hours because I'm too weak for that shit. But yeah, I do really want to read it, so I bought it. So we'll see when this one gets read. And then I also bought 10,000 Skies Above You and A Million Worlds With You. So this is book 2 and this is book 3 in the Firebird trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, yes it is. I have read the first book, I really liked it, and now I want to finish the trilogy before the year is over because I need to finish some series. I'm so behind on that. But this is pretty much, I don't remember the main, Margaret is the main character. Her parents are like the scientists, so they made this thing called Firebird, and that can make travel, so you can get to, there's like different dimensions, so you exist in different places at the same time, but you're not aware of this other person, but it's still sort of you, but you live totally different lives. And with this Firebird you can jump from these different dimensions and take over that body that's technically you as well. That was really hard to describe, but I hope you understand. And in the first book she goes after the guy that killed her father, and then they use this Firebird and she's haunting him through different dimensions, and it's freaking awesome. And also these covers look freaking amazeballs, so I needed to have them in physical copy because they look amazing. And then we have Turn the Samba by Isha Valdén, which is a review book I got by from Vox by Opal, and this is about 2 girls falling in love, and one of these girls are really like insecure in like social gatherings really, and it's really like little text on each page, so it's definitely a quicker read, but it's really beautifully written and I really liked reading this. And then we have The Dödas Dolk by Jenny Töredal, which is a review book I got from Visto Förlag. So this is the second book in a series called Sagan om Ella, so you don't really need to read this in order because, you know, they're standalones in that series really, they can stand alone. So the main character sees like these human heads on poles or something like that, and she has to make like she has to leave her statement about what she saw and everything like that, and seems like a lot of blood and gore and stuff like that. It's about ancient magic that's being awakened in the fight against the demon king called Lord Onekr, and Elvkorset bearer is forced out on a travel to that is Voldemort. It's like she meets a lot of evil but also love, and everything is so super put on its side when the story continues. So that's pretty much all I can gather from it, but it sounds interesting, so it'll be interesting to read that. Then we have The Ursprungliga by Cecilia Larsson Kostenius, sorry about that. And this book I got from Visto Förlag, and this is about the 5 elements. So there's been like 13 years since this goddess of virus had this, like, you know, what's the English word for it? I don't remember, but this sickness that killed a lot of people in the real world a long time ago, and the young Odal has since lived in hiding church really, where he's been trained to, you know, take out his revenge, and then one day he's been called from the very mystical Fire King, who changes everything. So there's this war that might happen any time now, and the world is threatened by death, and you know, the world might come to an end. And then we have The Language of Thorns, Midnight Tales and Dangerous Magic by Leigh Bardugo. And this is the special edition that was in the October Fairloot. So this is about different fairy tales that it comes from the Grishaverse. So I'm planning to read the Grishaverse books first, because I have only read Shadow and Bone, which is the first book, so I need to read the other two. And then I'm going to read this because it seems like a quick read. And also, like, every single page you read, like, the illustrations become like bigger and bigger, so it adds to it, which is really cool. And the text is written in like red and turquoise, and it's really cool. So there's a lot of pictures and illustrations and everything like that. And I have heard that these tales and these midnight tales are supposed to be really good, so I do look forward to reading it. And also, it's gorgeous. So I bought Nora Latin by Sara Bergmark Elfgren, and Sara Bergmark Elfgren was one of the authors that wrote Cirkeln, which is one of my favorite series when I was a teenager. And I actually met her at Bokmässan, which is sort of this book convention thing, and she's really nice. But I bought this book from Science Fiction Book Handler, which is an awesome store, and I was actually waiting for the bus and thinking maybe I should start reading it because it seems really cool. And then I was flipping through the pages, and I realized it's a signed edition, and I hadn't even noticed that. So I mean, that's totally cool. And so far I haven't come really far. I'm on page 34, but I do like the premise of it, and I hope I will like it as a whole. But yeah, it's pretty much about this school called Nora Latin, which is actually, it was a real school once upon a time, but today it's pretty much just office rooms. But in this book there is still a school in this building, and we meet Clea and Tamar, and they go to the same class in this school, and they dreams about becoming actors. So that's a really good acting school that everyone wants to you know, be allowed to go to. And this building is hiding a lot of secrets, and it's like this tragedy about a this is tragedy in the aulas, it's called, where some mysterious thing happened, and it's very unclear if it's real or if it's fiction. Did someone come up with this, or did it really happen, you know? So it's very unclear. And yeah, it sounds really cool. I do like the 34 pages I've read so far. But yeah, I look forward to reading this. We have The Little Mermaid and Other Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen. And this is the Barnes & Noble leather-bound classic edition, or what they call them. So it's a really cool color, and it sparkles because it's silvery, and I love it. And it also has silver edges. Awesome. So we get a lot of different fairy tales by Hans Christian Andersen. So there's a lot of them. But yeah, those were all of the books I bought for this month, and yes, it was 24, so it's a lot. And like I said, I have more books on its way home to me, so like 5 more maybe. It's getting out of hand. But yeah, so I will be hauling those books in my December book haul, because otherwise this would be a huge book haul again, and I just don't want to do that. But yeah, I do hope you like this video. Please let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these books and what you've thought about them. And yeah, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give me some thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the little button down below. And also don't forget to click the little bell icon so that you are 100% sure that you get a notification for when I have uploaded a new video. So yeah, I hope we see each other next time. Bye!